Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're covering a heated exchange in the Senate involving a senator from Oklahoma and his pushback against a colleague from Arizona. At the heart of this debate is the question of transparency around files linked to the Biden administration and whether Congress should play a direct role in controlling how federal investigations release information.
It's interesting that my colleague wants to continue talking about the elites, but the elites was the ones that actually covered up the last 4 years of the Biden administration. I mean, think about what happened during the Biden administration. They covered up, 1, for his cognitive behavior. 2, they covered up the Hunter Biden laptop. 3, they covered up the Russian gate and continue to cover up the Russian gate. And 4, they covered up the fact that an auto bin signed every one of his papers except one. Where was the cover-up? Where'd the elites come from? Well, it's because of the pressure from the Biden administration that actually did put it on the elite, on all the social media outlets. It's interesting, when I started talking to social media's founders after President Trump was elected, they said, we feel like we can actually do our job again. Why? Because the DOJ wasn't threatening to sue them. The Biden administration wasn't threatening to blackmail them. But yet my colleague from Arizona is saying that we're covering up for the elites. Let's be honest. We know these files have been out there forever. I don't remember a single time the Biden administration called on these things to be released. And I definitely don't remember my colleague from Arizona calling on these files to be released. As I've said before, this is nothing more than political theater. Everybody sees it. The American people sees it. And what else can President Trump and AG Bondi do but call on the judges to release the information? We're simply going back and forth here saying the same thing. The difference between my resolution and my colleagues from Arizona's resolution is mine isn't blurring the boundaries between separation of power. Mine is simply calling upon the judges to release the information. What my colleague's resolution does is truly trying to tell the FBI and the DOJ how they can proceed in doing their job and how they can actually present the information. Basically saying that we want all that information to go through Congress. Well, I'm sure Congress has never once played politics with any information. I'm sure that this investigation will be handled much like other investigations into this administration that the Democrats have done over the last, 8 years. I'm sure this would be handled just like any other thing that they've tried to go after, like the baseless impeachments or the baseless special counsels or the unbelievable amount of charges they've tried to file against the president. I'm sure this would be handled the exact same way. What we're simply wanting to do here is give them cover. So if my colleague from Arizona actually wants transparency, then he would drop his objection to my resolution and just simply have mine go through, and we can move forward with the transparency that maybe both of us actually want. So therefore, I object to combining them. I would ask my colleague once again to accept my resolution.
Don't forget to subscribe. We'll explain why this clash matters beyond Capitol Hill. Here's the key divide. The Oklahoma senator's resolution urges judges to release information, keeping Congress at arm's length, while the Arizona senator's resolution seeks to direct the FBI and DOJ on how to handle and present the data, including filtering it through Congress. Oklahoma's argument is simple, involving Congress risks politicizing the investigation further, pointing to past partisan impeachment efforts and special counsels as examples. Arizona's side argues that oversight demands congressional involvement to ensure accountability. This is more than a procedural debate. It's about who controls the narrative and timing of sensitive disclosures. Subscribe for updates, because these resolutions could redefine transparency battles in future investigations. Beyond the partisan fireworks, this fight raises a serious question. Who should set the rules for transparency? Congress, the courts, or the executive branch? Each path has trade-offs. Judicial release limits political interference, but may lack oversight. Congressional control boosts accountability, but risks selective leaks. Executive discretion maintains security, but invites accusations of cover-ups. Viewers should pay attention because this framework will likely shape not just the Biden files, but also how future administrations, including potential Trump investigations, are handled. Make sure you subscribe so you're informed as this debate evolves.